If you have played the tactical first-person shooter Counter-Strike Global Offensive, then the following voice lines may sound familiar to you.
Our guns shall bring us victory. We shall overcome. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes! Victory is ours!
If you guessed CSGO's Separatist faction, then congratulations, you are a true Counter-Strike fan. The Separatists are a terrorist faction found within the maps Inferno and Italy. They are distinguished by their black berets, white hoods with eye holes cut out, and insignias embroidered on the front and left sleeve of their uniforms. I find this interesting because their appearance closely resembles that of the Euskadi ta Askatasuna, a real terrorist group that operated in Europe. In fact, the Separatist faction is the only faction within the entire Counter-Strike franchise based on a real-life organization. So I decided to do some research to find out who the Separatists were and what they wanted to achieve. The Euskadi ta Askatasuna, or ETA for short, was a terrorist group that operated mainly in the Basque Country, a region located in northern Spain. Their name translates to Basque Homeland and Liberty, or Basque Country and Freedom, depending on how you interpret it. The Basque Country has popped up in international news several times due to its controversial status as an autonomous community of Spain that wants to be independent. One of the official languages in the region is Basque, which has zero relation to the Spanish language and isn't even part of the Indo-European language family, which the majority of European countries speak. Because of this, and a multitude of other political, social, and economic reasons, there have been many attempts by Basque nationalists to secede from Spain, but of course, they were unsuccessful. The ETA began its operations in the Basque Country on July 31st, 1959, and over the span of 6 decades, participated in many violent activities such as bombings, assassinations, and even kidnappings. Their goal was to become a fully independent nation and, at the very least, promote Basque nationalism and culture. Between 1968 and 2010, the ETA killed over 800 people, including over 300 civilians, and injured more than 20,000 others. They were classified as a terrorist organization by many countries including Spain, no surprise there, France, other members of the European Union, the United Kingdom, United States, and Canada. The ETA also held close alliances with other terrorist groups such as the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia and even the Irish Republican Army. Beginning in the early 2010s, it became evident that the ETA's structure was beginning to fall apart. Starting in September of 2010, the ETA declared a ceasefire that remained in force until October of the following year, when the ETA announced a, quote, definitive cessation of its armed activity. Not long afterwards, on November 24, 2012, the group announced it was ready to negotiate an end to its activities and disband completely. Nearly 5 years later, on April 7, 2017, the group claimed that they forfeited all their weapons and explosives. And finally, on the 2nd of May 2018, the ETA made it official that the group completely disbanded and that it had, quote, ended its political initiative. The Euskadi ta Askatasuna was a dangerous and violent terrorist organization that operated in the Basque Country region in northern Spain. Their ultimate goal was to gain independence from Spain by any means necessary, including partaking in bombings, assassinations, and kidnappings. Ironically, this makes Counter-Strike Global Offensive's Separatist faction the deadliest, since they are the only faction with a backstory based on real-life events and confirmed acts of terrorism. In fact, when CSGO was first released, some Spanish officials criticized Valve for including the ETA as a playable faction, stating that it, quote, trivializes terrorist violence and is offensive to the victims of the ETA attacks. Sadly, with the release of Counter-Strike 2 in September of last year, it seems Valve decided to remove the Separatists and all other terrorist factions in favor of one of the generic Phoenix Connection player models.